Sure. My name is Mercedes Williams. I'm a film critic and an entertainment reporter for the New Pittsburgh Courier, the oldest African American newspaper in the country, and also owner and chief film critic for Movie Scene Queen. So thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks.
Am I saying your first name right, Kiara?
Kiara, kind of like
Kiara. Okay, they said it two different ways, but Kiara sounds so fancy and I love it. So
oh, thank you.
Kiara. And I love your earrings. I love
Thank you.
the balls on them. So when you think about writing and the things that you've created, would you consider In the Heights your baby?
Well, I'm a mom with a big family, and In the Heights, you can't choose favorites, but In the Heights is a very good child. I started writing it in 2004. It was a different decade in my life. I was in my 20s. I had no children. Now we've opened off Broadway. We opened on Broadway. It has toured the world and it's going to be a major motion picture. I have two kids now. I went into labor in the off Broadway theater. So I think it's fair to characterize In the Heights as a great baby of mine.
That's great. So I just watched the movie yesterday, and it's so many colorful things and culture and music, and it just like I could catch myself not being a singer at all because you do not want to hear me sing, but I caught myself smiling during some of those times and some of those moments. So when you think about, as you were talking about in 2004 and transitioning to 2021, what has been the biggest takeaway on this In the Heights journey now that you know that it's about to be on a big screen and during a pandemic, some of the biggest theaters will be open?
When we opened In the Heights on Broadway, it wasn't even 2010 yet. Now it's 2021. We had to update the story. The world isn't static, the world changes. And so we wanted In the Heights to have the same heart, which is about the struggles, joys, and triumphs of a community that goes through life together. But we didn't want to put blinders on. We wanted to incorporate what had happened in the world. So things that had affected the Latino community, like family separation, it was hard to ignore those sorts of things. So, in some ways, very soft, in some ways, very clear, we folded in the new elements of the world that we thought would be on this community's mind.
So when you talk about what the pulse and the community, specifically in Washington Heights, and I'm thinking about the family, the separation, the undocumented workers, them not having access to a driver's license and going to college or federal aid. Have you had any of those personal setbacks in your life that makes you connect with either the text or the movie or the play even more?
Um, you know, being uh, being of Puerto Rican descent, my mother came. She was able to hop on a plane and come easily when she was 11 years old to Philly, which is where I'm from. But she worked in the community when I was a kid, trying to get better health outcomes for Latino mothers. Infant mortality was very high in the community. There was poor health services and lack of access. So that was her bread and butter, and that was my education. I was like, that was my after school program basically. And I saw, the undocumented mothers lived in fear. They were scared to go to the doctors. They were scared to go to the hospitals for safe deliveries. And they needed access to legal advocates, to clear information, to bilingual education. That's how I grew up. And so I think that being born with a US citizenship is in some ways a responsibility to others in our community who need that sort of advocacy.
So this is first of all, thank you for your answer. That was powerful in itself, and even your mom's story could be a story. When you think about In the Heights specifically, and I know this is kind of like a cliche question when I say this, but when you found out not necessarily was going on Broadway, that it was going to be a major motion picture, like what was going through your mind? Because I'm a writer, some writers, some of our biggest hopes and dreams is that we'll touch, what I mean, millions of people, but also that our work will continue to be and have a less legacy beyond generations. So once you heard, okay, it's on Broadway, it's off Broadway, it's on Broadway, which is a big enough staple in itself. What did you hear when somebody came knocking on your door or called you or texted you and said, and now we're taking it to the big screen?
I mean, when I heard that In the Heights was that movie studios were interested in the Heights, I was very excited, but I was also a little nervous because I didn't want the commercial aspects of Hollywood to, um, loosen the integrity of the film and the story we wanted to tell. So it was this, my daughter would say I was nervous and excited. When John Chu, our director, came on board, he was very clear on his vision. He said, this is about people, this is about human beings, but also we deserve a big Hollywood stage. This story matters. These people have big dreams. This is not an indie movie. This is a huge movie. And I'm going to get both that human element and that huge spectacle element. And that's when my heart just opened to the challenge of writing the screenplay, because I knew I could capture both of those extremes.
That's great. You talk
Sorry
about
the noise.
No, it's okay. I know that you already said that when you started, you didn't have a family. Now you have a family. How old are your two little ones?
I have a 14-year-old daughter who is graduating 8th grade and an 8-year-old son.
Okay. And then I know they're already probably into mom's work, but have they seen the movie yet? And what are their thoughts?
They've seen the movie a few times. My kids have seen it. My daughter burst into tears last time.
Oh,
I said, "Why are you crying? Did the movie touch you that way?" She said, I'm so proud of you, Mom."
yeah. Oh, that's great. That's good. It's just, I'm thinking about that journey. And you know what I mean? It's what, 17 years now, and how so many different parts of it that found out now a child that you created after the movie or after you write in the musical is now listening to it and being impelled by it. So they said I only have a couple of minutes left. So I just want to ask you, just what does, again, a general question, what does music mean to you? And if you had to choose today, right now, what's the album or the song that either is your go-to or either inspires you? People ask me that all the time, and I now have one song, and I want to know, what's your one song?
For me, music means our oral history. That's not just through the lyrics, but that's through the way the syncopation, the bata drums, the clave beat. That's our oral history. That's where we come from. That's our pulse. And for me, probably it would be an album. It would be Bachata Rosa, Juan Luis Guerra, which came out in 1991. And that was seminal for me, about our people's joy, our romance, our working class lives, and our vision for ourselves.
Yes. So spell that for me, because I'm a music lover, so I'm going to go look that up.
So it's bachata, which is Bachata. This is the name of the album.
Okay.
And then the second word is Rosa, Rosa.
All right. So look like I got some music. They're telling me that I only have a minute left. So I just want to just tell you, from somebody who uses the pen as their sword to another, thank you so much for your creativity, your light. And we wouldn't have In the Heights if it weren't for you. So I'm so glad. And wait, hold on, am I saying this right? Quiara.
There you go. I love
Oh,
it.
there we go. I got it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, the pen it's a great sword to work with.
Yes, thank you. And have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.